Welcome, 5th grade mathematicians. We're going to be taking a look at entry task day 102. So let's read problem number 1. Which of the steps shows a correct strategy and solution for subtracting 1 3/6 minus 12/10? So as I look at our problem, I have 1 3/6 minus 12/10. Now that problem shows me, number one, it's a subtraction problem. Number two, I see that there's an improper fraction for the second fraction. And I also know that I have to have a common denominator. So as I look at all of my answer choices, I can eliminate some things right off the bat. Number one, I see that the first fraction is 1 3/6. If I change that to an improper fraction, I would multiply 6 times 1 and add 3 to get 9/6. So I have 9/6 minus 12/10. So as I look at these choices, I see that A cannot be a correct strategy because that has 3/6. And this D also has 3/6, so it can't be A or D. So I'm left with B and C. Now the next step here is to find a common denominator, and the common denominator between 6 and 10 is 30. Both 6 and 10 go into 30. So the way that I would do that now is I have to make the common denominator by multiplying 9/6 by 5/5. And I would make 12/10 into an equivalent fraction. By multiplying by 3/3. And as I look at my choices here, I see that B cannot be a correct strategy because while it does come up with a common denominator, it does not have an equivalent fraction like C. So we would see that this would be 45/30 minus 36/30, which would be equal to 9/30, which can be simplified if I divide it by 3/3. It could be simplified to 3/10, which we have for C. So the correct solution is C. And so I think it's important as we take a look at that problem to make sure that we analyze each step carefully, because sometimes we jump to conclusions and we can make careless mistakes when we do that. Okay, problem number 2. We have a line plot, and it says the line plot shows the distance in miles that 5 dogs ran in a race. And if we analyze the line plot, we see that it is broken into sixths. So let's record our data. We're supposed to enter the total distance in miles these dogs ran in the race. So we're going to be adding all of the data. So the first point here is at 3/6. The next point is 1 1/6. And then we have 1 3/6. And then the last, we have 2 at 2 miles. Okay, so now we're going to add those all up together. And as I simplify this, as I look at it, I would automatically put 3, 6, and 3, 6 together. So I know that 3, 6 plus 1 and 3, 6 is 2. So I have 1 and 1/6 plus 2 plus 2 times 2, which is 4. So now again, that's what I see, and we all see things a little bit differently. There's often more ways to solve things. So now I have add up all the whole numbers. I have 7 and 1/6 left over. So this is 7 and 1/6 miles. They ran all together. Okay. Let me narrow that down so we can take a look at that. Okay, so problem number 3. The edge lengths in yards of a right rectangular prism are 4, 3, and 10. Enter the volume in cubic yards of this prism. So remember, an edge length. So just to clarify here, in a rectangular prism, it's all based off of a rectangle, but it's 3-dimensional. So every edge would be where 2 sides come together. Okay? So when it's talking about edge lengths, now that is more in a cube, but edge lengths would be like right here, here, and here. Okay, so length times width times height. So we have 4 times 3 times 10. Remember, I can use commutative property and change the order, and I can use associative property to group to make things easier for me to multiply. So I'm going to do 3 times 10 first, and 4 times 30 is equal to 120. And our measurement is in yards. So I have 120 yards cubed. Okay. Problem number 4. Enter the number of centiliters equal to 4 liters. Now, the nice thing about the metric system is we know that we have our base units of meters if we're doing distance. We have liters if we're doing liquid or volume. And we have grams if we're doing weight or mass. So all the other prefixes are the same. So centa means 100. So whenever I'm doing a conversion, remember that I write down what I'm given. I have 4 liters, and I want to know how many centiliters it is. So I know that 1 liter is equal to 100 centiliters. So I'm going to take 4 liters. I'm going to take 4 copies of 100, which is 400. So I end up with 400 centiliters. So we'll record it over here. If I can get this working right. 400 centiliters. Okie doke. Now I'm going to get rid of my scratch pad there. And for this one, I'm going to do some graphing. And remember that we start at the origin. So it says plot each point on the coordinate plane. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit. Man, I'm just having all sorts of issues with sticky fingers today, I guess. So point A, I'm going to go over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 6. And we'll put an A there to represent point A. Then we go start at 0. For point B, we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and up 2. 1, 2. That's point B. And for point C, we go start at 0 and we go over 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now it's really important with this. Notice how I'm touching the points. As you get, it can be easy to make mistakes with things like this, especially when they're so small. So just make sure that you double check your accuracy on that because we want to be precise. So as usual, if you have any questions on any of these problems, please reach out to your teacher. Have a great day, 5th graders.